In the previous episode, we spoke about the potential $4 billion EV battery factory that could transformatively create thousands of jobs in the next 5 years by 2030, which is a huge promise. But let's be honest here. When you're sitting in traffic in this election year in 2026, the Lusaka traffic or the Indaba traffic, and you're thinking on this, you'll want to see proof of what is capable today, not the promise of tomorrow. And in this episode, we're going to cover just that. We're going to talk about the 12,500 jobs created in the Lusaka South multi-facility zone right here in Lusaka. This flow of people is the flow of money. 12,500 monthly salaries being paid like clockwork. And this is cycled directly back into the economy by means of paying for school fees, hospital bills, and buying goods at the market. And when you buy made in Zambia, there's a high probability that this product will help in paying the salary of the technician, the packer, and the engineer right here. And if you want proof that industrial policy is working, this is where you look. What is MFEZ? Well, it is a dedicated ring-fenced zone offering tax holidays and a one-stop shop for foreign and local investors to accelerate manufacturing. Here's some historical context. While the Lusaka South MFEZ was established in 2011, its acceleration and current job creation, the 12,500 figure, is a recent success, largely driven by policy stability and infrastructure finalization since 2021 and 2022. This is the difference between creating a policy and activating its potential. I can already see you thinking, why introduce more tax holidays for these foreign investors? Well, let me remind you that there's local investors involved in this as well. And there's a reason why there's tax holidays for these kind of economic zones, because there's a need for them. MFEZ zones are the government's most important tool for accelerating industrialization and providing a geographically ring-fenced area where the operating environment is predictable and incentivized to attract foreign direct investment and domestic large-scale manufacturers. And this zone is managed and promoted by the Zambia Development Agency. Now let's look at the scale. The Lusaka South MFEZ is the flagship example of a broader strategy. Zambia operates a total of 8 official multi-facility economic zones and special economic zones across the country. The strategy began back in 2007 with the establishment of the Chambishi MFEZ, which focused on the copper belt. And then it expanded in 2011 with the opening of the Lusaka South MFEZ, which is our main focus in this episode. This national network, which also includes zones in Kalumbila and other strategic locations, show a decades-long commitment to creating industrial hubs. So look at it this way. Zambia's GDP, its growth, is often criticized as jobless growth because it relies too heavily on highly automated mining and capital-intensive infrastructure, which employs few people relative to their revenue. So in comes diversification and GDP. Critically, MFEZs are the engine for diversification, which are aiming to limit Zambia's historic reliance on copper, which is the primary commodity and the boom and bust cycles that reliance creates. The MFEZ's core mandate is value addition, transforming materials that were previously exported, raw commodities, into finished high-value goods. And by attracting manufacturing, the goal is to strengthen the country's GDP through the production of these high-value goods for both local consumption, which reduces import bills, and also regional export, which increases foreign currency earnings. To absorb the huge youth demographic of the country, there's a need for mass employing in light manufacturing and value addition. Or the MFEZ solution are the 3 pillars of investments. MFEZs are designed to fix this investment gap by offering a unique integration solution built on 3 guaranteed pillars. Pillar 1, fiscal incentives. This is the immediate financial sweetener. The government offers generous tax breaks, including 0% tax on dividends, 0% on corporate tax for the crucial first 5 years, and complete duty exemptions on capital equipment imports. Pillar 2, Operational efficiency. For any serious manufacturer, power reliability is non-negotiable. MFEZs provide guaranteed access to reliable, dedicated power and water grids, minimizing disruptions, which are a problem that plague operations outside the zone. And then there's pillar 3, the final one. Simplified regulation. The entire bureaucratic process is streamlined through a one-stop shop regulatory approval system. Pillar 3, simplified regulation. The entire bureaucratic process is streamlined through a one-stop shop regulatory approval system, drastically cutting red tape and speeding up the time it takes for an investor to move from decision to production. The Lusaka South MFEZ is strategically located to leverage efficient access to the Central Road network and the Tazara rail line, maximizing logistical efficiency for both imports and exports, and entrepreneurship training colleges. The presence of these factories directly incentivizes local education institutions to rapidly develop new specialized curricula, for example, in industrial automation or specialized food processing or pharmaceuticals, which ensures the next generation of graduates is perfectly aligned with the needs of the modern industry. This high wage floor strengthens their local economy and drives a more powerful trickle-down effect than low-wage employment. This right here is building the necessary pool of skilled labor that the future $4 billion EV battery factory will desperately need for its hydrometallurgy processes, as we discussed in episode 4. And there's a sector shift. The MFEZ has diversified away from traditional construction inputs into high-value, fast-moving consumer goods and specialized production, such as pharmaceuticals, for example, producing generics for the local and regional market. Let's look at agro-processing, high-value processed foods, and light assembly and a bit of manufacturing, which is an economic multiplier. The MFEZ jobs support an estimated an additional 35,000 indirect jobs in the Lusaka region through services, transport, and local commerce. To break things down a bit better, we're going to highlight 2 case studies of companies that have actively invested in the MFEZ and are currently there. The first case study is a high-tech chemical investment, which is bridging to E4, and that is Farm Global Technologies. This company invested $45 million to build a pharmaceutical formulation plant. Their core business is producing essential generic medicines for the SADC, the SADC region. And they required a location with 0 power interruptions and guaranteed high purity water supply. And these are needs that only the MFEZ's dedicated infrastructure could meet. And here are the jobs that were created. This firm employs 450 people, including 40 Zambian chemical engineers and pharmacists, who manage the automated production lines and quality control labs. This is the definition of retaining high-skilled talent and stopping brain drain. This type of high-demand, high-standard operation proves that MFEZ is ready to host the complex chemical processes needed for future EV battery factory. Case study 2, local empowerment, which is the human element, right? There's Zambian Pride Foods, which is a local agro-processor, and this company specializes in packaging and value-adding local produce, such as dried fruits and snack mixes, etc., etc. They were previously operating out of a rented warehouse in town, struggling with high municipal rates and unreliable power and a poor water source. And now they've moved to the MFEZ, which has allowed them to claim the 5-year corporate tax holiday and import advanced packaging machinery duty-free. And the result is showing. The saved costs and increased efficiency have allowed them to hire an additional 200 factory workers and double the export volume into neighboring countries, directly creating wealth and markets for Zambian farmers. This demonstrates that the MFEZ benefits are accessible and scalable for local entrepreneurs, not just foreign giants. And there's an integration with infrastructure, because the success of the MFEZ is directly amplified by key infrastructure projects. For example, the Lusaka-Ndola dual carriageway, which is part of our episodes that we will cover in the future as well. It's critical because the MFEZ's feeder roads provide immediate access to the Lusaka bypass, which connects directly to the northern corridor. This dramatically reduces the transit time and cost for MFEZ manufacturers to ship high-volume goods like cement and processed foods north to the Copperbelt, mining heartland, and crucially to the lucrative DRC export market. And this makes their products competitive regionally, and similarly, the Tazara rail line, which is another topic we will discuss in the future, provides a bulk transport option for heavy inputs, reinforcing the series theme of infrastructure synergy. And of course, I have to ask you guys a question. The Lusaka South MFEZ has successfully attracted pharmaceuticals and agro-processing. Now, if you were advising the government on the next phase of industrialization, what specific high-value sectors or companies do you think Zambia should prioritize and attract to the MFEZ next? Let us know in the comments. The biggest risks that MFEZs face is more of a policy issue. Maybe another government comes into power and says, this is not something that we wish to continue with, and cuts it short. That would risk the MFEZ. Or the other problem would be that we're not realizing these MFEZs to their full potential. And therefore, we need to remember exactly what these MFEZs have done so far. Number one, local impact. I need to reiterate the fact that 95% of the 12,500 jobs created in the Lusaka South multi-facility zone are for Zambians. So this is a pure win for local employment. Number two is the educational pipeline. The presence of specialized manufacturing in the MFEZ is structurally changing the educational landscape. By demanding specialized talent, the MFEZ forces alignment between industry needs and academic output. This ensures that the skills learned in Zambian universities are immediately relevant and highly paid. This is the ultimate long-term return on investment. Then number three is about logistical control. By concentrating large-scale manufacturing in a designated zone, the MFEZ helps manage heavy vehicle logistics, keeping large trucks and industrial traffic efficiently routed to the Lusaka bypass and off congested municipal roads, which improves urban flow and safety. Number four, the tax holiday rationale. The 5-year tax incentive is an investment in stability. It is a deliberate policy to allow nascent manufacturing companies, which are high cost and slow to scale, to reach a state of healthy profitability faster. The goal is to ensure that after the 5 years have concluded, that the companies emerge robust, financially strong, and capable of sustaining and expanding their employment of both skilled and unskilled Zambians for decades to come, far outweighing the initial tax deferment of 5 years. Now, of course, there is an import assembly risk. Often, MFEZs become import and assemble operations rather than true manufacturing. So, to counter this, government has implemented mandates such as with the pharmaceutical firm that we just mentioned, to make sure that they use local raw materials, or they are engaged in complex chemical formulation, which create deeper local value chains. And then there's, of course, a bureaucratic risk. Of course, the one-stop shop concept often struggles with bureaucratic red tape. But again, government has introduced reforms, and we will mention that further along the line with another episode when we talk about the ease of doing business within the zones. So, as a summation of everything that we just spoke about, the MFEZ proves that large-scale policy can deliver high-skilled, high-tech employment right now, today, with the 12,500 jobs that have been implemented. But industrialization isn't just about engineers and clean rooms. It's about optimizing what the land already gives us. The MFEZ attracts high-skilled jobs, but it doesn't mean that artisanal jobs have been left behind. In the next episode, we will travel to the northwestern province to discuss the incredible success story of the rebirth of Kalena Hills, a case study in how a simple local product, the pineapple, is being transformed into a high-value global commodity. Perhaps in doing so, we'll finally be able to explain why some people think it's okay to put pineapple on pizza. I'll see you at the next episode.